Hi everybody, it's Susie from Ruby Rose Reborns, and I'm here with some of my little cabbage today. And as I had promised before, I was going to do a video of them in their Petit Ami outfits. And I'm just so in love with these kids. They're just so cute. And we'll start with Robin Rebecca, who's in the middle. And she has a smocked Lena preemie outfit on, or it's like for an 18-inch doll or something, and it fits her just perfect. She has these cute little white bloomers underneath it, and I just couldn't find any little enough socks for her. So there's my beautiful little Robin Rebecca. And then over here is my sweet, sweet Pam Lena, who has the little blonde top knot. Well, it's covered with the Petit Ami bonnet now. That looks so cute on her soft, rosy, rosy skin. Her big blue eyes. And she's wearing a white with pink smocked and pink flowers Petit Ami dress with the little puff sleeves, and it has little bloomers, and she has little white socks on. She looks so cute. And then here is my lovely Westley Aaron, and you know, he has the little bit darker blonde shaggy top knot on his head, but he has his boy bonnet on, and just look how sweet he looks with those big green eyes and those freckles. And he has a smocked blue pleated bubble for boys. And he also has these shoes I wanted to show you, and socks. And I'm going to just move over here. If you can see his little sock there, that has the little blue rocking horse that goes with his bubble suit. And then he has these darling white lace crib shoes for little boys. So he is all decked out. And there they are. And behind them at the end of the crib are my two other Cabbage. These are their toddler sisters. Thea Molly's on the right and Katie Scarlett is on the left. And they're wearing Gymboree unicorn dress, and then the other one is the little dress and legging set. So that's my cabbage for today, but that's not all we're going to talk about. But also, as you can see on my crib here, I have these worn spots here, and at the end of my crib over there I have these spots, and I've had people inquire about those. And for my new subscribers, I'm going to tell you that when I bought this crib was in March of last year, and it was 1950s baby crib, and it has lambs on the front, and it's Simmons, and it's almost to the exact type of crib I had when my daughter, who's 42 years old, was born, and we got a brand new Simmons. And when I saw, and I let that crib go like a dummy, so when I saw it, I just had to buy it, and I did. And they don't even make these kind of drop side cribs anymore because of dangers to babies or whatever. But those worn marks, why I have not painted them is because those were baby teeth marks. And you know how the babies would stand up and they would teeth on the end of their crib. Mine all did that. Anyway, so on both sides of these cribs are the original baby's teeth marks from teething, and I just can't bring myself to paint those because of the sentimental value really in it. So I've left them like that. But also today I thought since this will probably be, I'll probably have this published on Monday, which is the day that the United States celebrates a national holiday, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Day for his birthday. And I just thought it might be kind of fun to talk about where were you when? Now, I realize that there are quite a few younger people on YouTube now and in the reborn community, and there's a few of us that are older, you know, that might be in their early 60s, that would remember where they were when. Now, you guys, you younger ones, I'm sure all of you could say, where were you when the Twin Towers came down and America was attacked on 9/11? I'm sure you all remember that, and you can tell us exactly where it is, because where you were. Because isn't it interesting, when those type of things happen, we always seem to remember. You know, it sticks in our mind. So I thought it might be kind of fun to go through some of the things that, where was I when? And I thought I would start with JFK, John F. Kennedy, who was our president, and it was back in 1963, and I was 9 years old. I know exactly where I was when he was assassinated. I was in 4th grade at Rossmore Elementary School, and it was the day before we left for our Thanksgiving break, and lunch had happened, and we'd lined up for lunch, and all the classes were lined up to go into their classroom, but nobody was opening their doors to go, so we were waiting out there for a while. And then our classroom door opened, and my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Sherwood, we walked in, and she was sitting in the middle of our room. We had a U shape with the desks, and the lights were off. All the lights were off. And she was just sitting there in the middle and asked us to go very quietly to our desks. And we did, and we sat down, and we, you know, we all knew something was really wrong. And she was sitting there in that chair, and she was crying. And then she told us that our president, John F. Kennedy, had been assassinated, and he was dead, and in Dallas. And she was crying. We started crying. And then they let school out right then. We didn't wait till 2:30 or 3 when we got out. We went home. And our parents were called. We went home. And I remember seeing them lowering the flag as we were leaving to half mast. And so I will never forget when that happened. And then that weekend, my family went to our friend's house for Thanksgiving dinner, and that's of course all anybody talked about, and it was on the radio and the TV. And my mother, when I came home, she was crying, she was upset. I don't remember my father being that upset, but you know, he was a man. He wasn't, you know, showing his feelings like that. And then the following day on that Friday, was it Friday or Saturday? That I don't remember, but I remember that I was at my friend's house and we were watching TV, and we saw them bring in Lee Harvey Oswald, and this was live, and we saw Jack Ruby walk up and shoot him in the stomach. And we were 9 years old and watching that on TV. It was unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And the chaos that ensued after that happened. And of course, I remember watching the funeral, the Catholic Mass on TV, and that was really something. So, yes, I remember where I was when JFK died, but since it is Martin Luther King Day, I remember exactly where I was when Martin Luther King died as well. He was our hero. I was a freshman in high school, I think. Either I was in 8th grade or 9th grade. And I was a freshman, and honest to goodness, he was just a hero to us. And as a child, I remember when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, the Selma, the protesters and the march in Selma, the peaceful protesters, and in Montgomery, Alabama. And I remember hearing Martin Luther King's speeches, and I Have a Dream, And I remember my mother just listening in rapt attention. And, you know, she had such a great deal of respect for Dr. King. My father, on the other hand, would just kind of grunt every time he came on. And that's just being in that age, 1968. And, well, before that, it was like 1965, 1963, and so on. So, but we just, everybody had a great deal of respect for him. And especially the young people, that was really something. And then I remember coming home from school, and it was in April, and I was at my friend's house again, and we were in her room doing our homework, and we were listening to the radio, and they interrupted the program to say that Dr. Martin Luther King had been assassinated. And just, we were a little older now and understood that a little bit more, and I was almost 14 years old, and we cried and cried, and, everybody at our school was mourning for that, because he just gave such promise to people and fought for everybody. And because at that time also was the Black Panthers, and we heard a lot of news about them as well. And so we grew up with that, and the Vietnam War was going at the same time. So yes, I remember when Dr. King died, and I remember what a great man he was, and how missed he was, and what an incredible, inspiring message he gave to not only the Black people, but to all people who were segregated, or women. I mean, to women and to Black people and Latinos, it was all for them. And he really did sacrifice his life, and he knew. He knew that this was eventually going to happen to him, and he made that speech. I've come to the mountain, and like Moses, and I won't be allowed in. And oh my gosh, every time I listen to that now, I start crying. But there's a lot of great books about him, and there's a great book about James Earl Ray, who assassinated him. I read that one. That was enlightening. But anyway, I just wanted to pay tribute to Dr. King on this day, and for the great work that he has done. And things really changed, because, I grew up then. I know how it was. I know. I was there. And yes, I was a teenager, or a young teenager even, but you don't miss that, So anyway, that's enough of that. And I just wanted to share my little babies with you. My sweet little Pam Lena. We'll just go back through this again. Pam Lena, and Miss Robin Rebecca, and Mr. Westley Aaron. My sweetie hearts. Anyway, there they are, all dressed in their Petit Ami. And thank you for my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. And it'll be next week. We will have our drawing for the Valentine's giveaway. And thank you for all your sweet comments, everybody. I love you. And we will talk to you later.